Good evening, folks. We're glad that you could be with us online. We are going to be looking at Genesis chapter 5. We're sorry Tim is not here tonight. He is at the hospital with the passing of one of our brothers. Let's read chapter 5 of Genesis, and then we'll briefly talk about it. And then after that, there's a couple of videos that we're going to show. From genealogy from Adam to Noah. This is a written account of Adam's family line. When God created mankind, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them, and he named them mankind when they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. And when Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. And when he became the father of Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. After he became the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived a total of 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. And then after he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Kenan lived a total of 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. After he became the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, he lived a total of 895 years, and then he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. After he became the father of Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Jared lived a total of 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked faithfully with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. After he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived a total of 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah. And he said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands caused by the ground the Lord had cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived a total of 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, something interesting you might want to know. There was a long time ago, a man was preaching a sermon, and he was dealing with genealogies. Well, people have been trying to get this one man converted to Christ for years. That one Sunday morning, he walked forward and was baptized. And everybody was just surprised completely. And he was asked afterwards, "What caused you to obey the gospel after all the people had tried? Didn't you listen to what the preacher said? He lived and he died. He lived and he died. He died." He said, "I'm going to die. And if I die now, I'm going to hell." So you never know what's going to cause a person to become a Christian. Now, another interesting note. Methuselah. lived 969 years. The interesting part of that is he died the year of the flood. Did he die in the flood, or did he die prior to the flood? We don't know. But we do know he died the year of the flood. Quite interesting. Okay, at this time, Karen, if you're ready, we're going to show a couple videos that Tim has picked out for us.
And we're back at 7:40 this morning on In Depth Today, the search for Noah's Ark.
Yeah, one of the Bible's most compelling stories, of course. Well, now, some American researchers claim they have found what they believe is evidence of the Ark buried in a remote part of Turkey.
Well, it looks Ark-shaped, doesn't it? NBC's Keir Simmons has made his way there for us with his shovel. Hey, Keir, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. It's a story we're told from childhood, isn't it? And take another look at that shape on the mountain there. A group of American Christians believe they have new evidence that that is the wreckage of Noah's Ark here in these mountains. And then look at this majestic live shot. That in the distance there is Mount Ararat. What that tells us is we're in the right place. Imagine these mountains millennia ago, submerged by floods, and in this beautiful biblical landscape named in the Old Testament the shape of a ship. The book of Genesis says Noah landed here in the mountains of Ararat. So, could this really be Noah's Ark? New research shared with Today hints at that extraordinary conclusion. Believers have been drawn to this site in Turkey, close to the Iranian border, since it mysteriously emerged after an earthquake in the 1940s.
You're here.
Christian researcher Andrew Jones from California says the dimensions match.
In chapter 6 of Genesis, it talks about a 300 cubit long boat. And that, if you use the Egyptian cubit, is 515 feet long, or about 157 meters. And that's exactly the length of this boat-shaped object. Okay, what do you see, Sally?
And Jones says he has fresh evidence, working with a local professor to look beneath the surface after several teams scanned the site with ground-penetrating radar. We're standing right above where these images were taken.
We had them independently analyzed, and the data came back showing these tunnels going down the ark and on the inside area of the ship.
This animation, revealed here on Today for the first time, imagines those spaces as corridors with cabins.
Right angles and parallel lines, suggesting maybe these are the walls, the support beams for rooms. Other researchers have also found evidence that there are 3 layers below the ground, and in the biblical account you have 3 individual decks according to Genesis. So you're looking at the site here.
And they say soil samples suggest a chemical imprint of a ship. Many may look at this and say it's simply a natural feature of the landscape.
Then the ark rested in the 7th month.
But Andrew is a man of faith.
On the mountains of Ararat.
And the faithful are flocking here, like Christine and Victor from California.
Well, it's in Genesis, so you study it, you read about it, and so we are excited to be here, right, Vic?
Yeah.
The possible resting place of Noah's Ark, now a new stop on pilgrimages, increasingly popular with American Christians.
The feeling of going back in time and space with Abraham and Noah and Isaac and Jacob.
This is my Father's word. Whether you believe this is Noah's Ark or not, these are indisputably biblical lands, drawing believers to see for themselves. Now, the plan now is to carry out core drilling on this site, guys, to drill down 100 feet to see what those voids are. And there are conflicting theories. Of course there are. This is Noah's Ark, including that it might have landed on Mount Ararat itself. But I can tell you, these are magical mountains, guys.
And we're back at 7.
Now, there's a couple of problems, though, if you were to say, well, this is the tallest mountain, so let's go find the Ark up there. The biggest problem is it's a stratovolcano. Now, what that means is that after each eruption, the mountain builds up itself.
Hi everyone, this is Ryan Morrow from the Doubting Thomas Research Foundation, and we are going to be talking with our Noah's Ark researcher, Andrew Jones, in this video. Andrew is over there in Turkey. Andrew, thanks for being with us. Can you tell us exactly where you are right now in Turkey?
Hello, Ryan. I am standing here in eastern Turkey at the base of what's known as Mount Ararat. Now, this mountain is a stratovolcano, and it is the tallest mountain in the country of Turkey. Now, it is also the most famous due to the story of Noah's Ark and the flood. And most traditional sightings place the Ark high up on this mountain that's covered with a glacier.
Right, so as long as I can remember, the story has always been that Noah's Ark landed on Mount Ararat. And so you're at Mount Ararat, and you would assume then that that's where Noah's Ark landed, and it either has been destroyed since then or it's preserved up there. That would just be the assumption. So can you explain to us a little bit about why this mountain has been associated with the landing of Noah's Ark for so long? Is there any evidence to support that? Because, like I said, it's always been taught to us that the Bible says that Noah's Ark landed on Mount Ararat, where you are right now.
Yes, so most people do assume that the Ark of Noah landed up there, and the biggest assumption is because it's the tallest mountain in the country, in this region. But if you look at the biblical text, it actually says that Noah's Ark landed on the mountains of Ararat, plural. And Ararat is actually the name of the country of Urartu. And that was an ancient kingdom that covered this whole area of eastern Turkey and into Armenia and northern Iran. Now, this country has different regions. And so the region that has the mountains is where we are standing today. Now, there's a couple of problems, though, if you were to say, well, this is the tallest mountain, so let's go find the Ark up there. The biggest problem is it's a stratovolcano. Now, what that means is that after each eruption, the mountain builds up itself. And another name for it is a composite volcano because it's made up of different layers. And so, because of that reason, those who are looking for the Ark and those who say, I saw the Ark, high up on that mountain, on the outside slope of it, they're actually saying that the Ark landed on the last lava flow from the last eruption. Now, if you look at the lava that we're standing in here, where I'm actually in a lava flow right now, a lava bed, as you look at the lava up on the mountain, all of that is lava that was from a post-flood volcano eruption. This is not pillow lava that you find like in Hawaii. And so definitely this mountain that we're standing at the base of was created after the flood. And so that leaves us then with the issue of, well, what about these eyewitness accounts? Many people say, I saw the Ark up there, or I saw part of the Ark. In fact, most recently there's been some stories of people who saw wood, in the ice and snow up there. Well, if you look at each one of those accounts, they all conflict. There's not a general a story that says the Ark is in one spot on the mountain at one elevation and preserved in one piece. You have stories saying that the Ark is two pieces, or a perfectly preserved barge, or is buried in the ground on the side of the mountain. And then people who say it's on the north side, the southeast side. And right now we're standing on the south side. And so we're looking at these conflicting stories that don't match. And it basically raises the question, like, well, why are people so focused on that mountain when the Bible doesn't say the Ark landed there, but the Bible just gives us a general territory of this mountainous region of the kingdom of Urartu?
Okay, so to summarize, the Bible actually says that Noah's Ark landed in the mountains, plural, of Urartu. So it doesn't actually say specifically a mountain or specifically Ararat. And so it's perfectly legitimate to say that it landed somewhere in the mountains of what we would call Ararat today, not just that specific peak.
That's correct.
So, Andrew, is it debated at all that Mount Ararat is a stratovolcano, and therefore, if Noah's Ark landed there, then it would have been destroyed, right?
Yeah, no, it's not debated. Everyone you talk to, from creationists to evolutionists, they all agree that this is what you call a stratovolcano. Now, there are different types of volcanoes, but this is definitely a composite or a stratovolcano. It's two different names for the same type of volcano. which again means that as the lava came up and as the mountain erupted, it actually formed itself. The famous ones out there are like Mount Fuji, you have Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier. So these are stratovolcanoes where each eruption actually formed the mountain that we see today. And so that is not debatable. Everyone accepts that. So if you're going to say the ark has landed up there, you basically have to ignore all that and try to come up with a reason of how a volcano erupted and did not destroy the ark, and how the ark landed on the very outside, the very top of this volcano after the very last eruption. In fact, the very last eruption was in 1841, I believe, on the north side. It blew out and formed the Ahora Gorge, and yet you have some ark hunters who are looking for the ark in that very gorge that was formed. This huge.
They're looking specifically where the eruption happened, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, it's up there preserved in this place where it actually blew out the side of the mountain and killed over 1,000 people back in 1841. So a lot of people who are looking for the ark up there, number one, they ignore the biblical text. Number two, they're willing to ignore the geology of the region just to put the ark high up on this volcano. Now, it's a very pretty volcano. It's a beautiful mountain. But in my opinion, it's definitely not where the ark landed.
Right, so, I mean, essentially what you're saying is that Noah's ark was meant to deal with a flood and not a volcanic explosion with lava. And that's essentially what you have to argue the ark would be able to handle if you say that it's on this current site of Mount Ararat. Somehow it was able to survive massive volcanic eruptions. And when you look at just how obvious that is, how simple logic brings you to that conclusion, it's really amazing that there have been so many supposed sightings of a Noah's Ark type object of wood, that everyone seems to be so focused on that specific mountain. But the Bible says we don't have to be that narrowly focused, and what we know about how that was formed, it would mean that Noah's Ark either didn't land there or it landed there and was destroyed, so why are you looking? It's really amazing. It's very similar to the Mount Sinai issue, where there was a consensus that was built because so much focus was on the traditional site of Mount Sinai in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula that people went there and they said there wasn't evidence, therefore the story didn't happen. And now it turns out that if you look at this mountain in northwestern Saudi Arabia, there is all this evidence. So it's the same pattern. It's really very interesting to see. But Andrew, you've got to talk about one controversial claim. Because if you look up this site or anything about Mount Ararat Noah's Ark on YouTube, you're going to see videos with millions of views about this dramatic sighting and footage of Noah's Ark finding wood up on Mount Ararat. The Chinese team, I know their initials were NAMI. What can you tell us about this? Is this, we heard about it, it got a lot of commotion, a lot of attention, people still talk about it, but there haven't really been any updates. Can you explain the situation to us?
Yes, of course, I do know of that claim. It was publicized in the news back in, I believe, 2009 or 2010. In fact, I talked to somebody who actually been up there and inside the so-called Ark. He did a Skype call with me in 2014 and showed me his photos and explained how he was charged $20,000 to be taken up there by the local guides who said they had found it up there. Now, that site is actually on the side of the mountain we're at. It's about 2/3 of the way up on this southern side of the mountain. Now, the claim is that buried in the side of this lava flow, remember this is a volcano, are these pieces of the Ark, and they say there are 2 or 3 different pieces. They have like 2 or 3 different locations, and the videos they show you, they have the guys going down into some crevasse, and then they show you the wood that is like embedded into the ice and into the snow and dirt. And then they're showing you like pottery pieces. Some of them have like dried beans or like food items. And you see cobwebs. When you start seeing this stuff, you start to wonder: did Noah just like run off the ark and leave all his food? Like, who put that there? why hasn't others been up there since that time? There's been really no other update. So if this really is Noah's Ark, everyone here could benefit from it. The tourism industry, the guides who actually found it. There's millions of dollars to be made. Yet the people who have been promoting that site, they were charged a lot of money to get up to that site by the locals who found it. So that makes you wonder then the motivation for the people who actually found it. Like, why do they do it, and why they only show a certain number of people the so-called Ark there? There's many issues with that site.
Andrew.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, let's discuss what was actually found there, right?
Yes.
So, was wood actually found there, and was the wood compatible with the shape of a ship? Like, if we're being as generous as possible, what would we say that wood resembles?
Well, when they show the video, and I've seen photos from the inside, and obviously I've seen the same YouTube videos that others have seen, what they're showing is not a complete ship. They're showing bits and pieces. I don't know what the longest piece you see in the video, maybe 30 feet or 40 feet. I don't even think it's that long. And so you see these boards, but you never see like a whole room or a whole side of a boat. And so the story is, again, personally I did not see people plant wood up there. I just know the story from other locals. The story is that the years before 2010 or so, this group hired some villagers to take up old wood from other parts of the country and from other villages and put it during the summer months when the snow has melted and it's muddy up there, to embed the wood in there and form these little rooms. And then when it was all solid and frozen in place over the next couple winters, then they brought in this group of Christians from, I believe, initially from China, but they also had some American archaeologists involved and explorers, and then they showed them the site. Yet, after all of that, big announcement and everything, we still have the original videos being promoted on YouTube, but nothing else has ever been done with the site. No scientific expedition, no Turkish archaeologists going up there, no foreign archaeologists. We're just left with the initial story, and so I really think that should cause some concern and doubt, because again, you go back to what this mountain is. It's a volcano, and yet they're saying embedded on the side of this volcano, which is basically a lava flow, a dried lava flow, is this ark. And so how did the ark land inside this lava flow that would have happened, after many years after the flood? It's just that there's so many issues.
Sure.
So you basically
Andrew,
left.
just to be clear, so how did the claim about Noah's Ark being found on Mount Ararat with a video of the wood come about? Is it like as simple as the Chinese explorers and the missionaries showed up at the mountain, talked to a local, and someone was like, hey, guess what? For $20,000, I'll show you Noah's Ark, and then it was discovered, supposedly? Is that how it went?
Basically, yeah, in a simplified manner. I mean, I don't know all the little details of how they managed to connect with the locals, but it wasn't, these people did not go up there and stumble across it themselves. They were taken there by locals who said, hey, we'll show you where the Ark is for X amount of money. There was a transaction involved with money. They showed them the structure. They brought other people up there and charged them money to see it. And, so that's kind of how the story happened.
All right, so, Andrew, you're telling us this story about a guy being paid $20,000 to bring the explorers up to this alleged Noah's Ark site. But you're saying that comes from local sources. So how do we know that you're not just repeating a rumor from some local who just didn't like the news about the discovery? Because people gossip a lot. Do you actually know the people involved? You don't have to name them, but do you actually know who was allegedly involved in getting $20,000 for this, and the sources that come from this account of what went on here?
Yeah, so actually the source that was telling me that they were charged $20,000 was from the American who actually went up there. He said they charged him $20,000 to take him up there. Then he showed me the video clips and photos over Skype of that little expedition where he went up.
So the guy who paid $20,000,
he's the one.
Is the one that told you this story. Okay, so
yeah,
it doesn't get more solid than that.
Yeah, it went out of his pocket. Now he believed the site is legit, but he actually paid that money. It wasn't some other rumor. Now, in regards to who planted the wood, there's different rumors in town. So I don't want to name names because obviously I wasn't there and didn't see these people plant the wood. But everyone in this area, when you talk to them, they always name the same person and his group as being the ones involved in planting the wood up there. And this person was obviously involved also in the news announcements and everything else. So there is a connection between the publicity and the stories, the local stories of this person putting this fake ark up there. But I don't want to name any names.
Sure, but did people see this fraud taking place? Did they actually see someone bringing the wood up there?
Yeah, so actually, a friend of mine who lives here, again, I did not see this, but this friend who lives here said he talked to the villagers who got hired. And this village is at the base of the mountain. There's a bunch of villages down here, and this local hired these villagers to carry the pieces up there. And he has talked to some of the villagers about it, and they do admit that they were bringing these chunks of wood and planting them up in the ice. So we do have, again, we did not see the villagers do that, but here's a villager telling us the story that is matching what others others in this area are saying about this site.
I mean, that's a really solid case. So you talked to the guy who said he was charged $20,000 to be brought up there and discover Noah's Ark, and you also have sources who can describe how this was done, and people who actually said that they were paid to bring the wood up there in order to perpetrate the fraud. So I think it's rare that you come across a case that strong when you can debunk something that thoroughly. So thank you for that, Andrew. Hopefully everyone watching will understand why we have been focusing on the Darupanar site as opposed to the main Mount Ararat now. That we believe if Noah's Ark is still in existence, that its remains should probably be found somewhere else. And stay tuned for future updates. We do have scientific work that we are trying to fundraise for. You can go to the website at noahsarkscans.com, and our overall website is doubtingthomasresearch.com. And I'm Ryan Morrow. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe below, and we'll talk to you soon.